all about Raptors, about Ravenwood.
I think we're
all
gonna
about people from Ravenwood.
We're gonna branch it out.
Ravenwood.
This one is gonna like get everyone intrigued into it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like if everybody that's going to be a guest on the podcast, it would make sense to definitely have it saying Raptor something. RaptorCast is pretty cool.
I liked RaptorCast. That was the first one that popped into my head.
I think RaptorCast is catchy. You know what I mean? It says podcast.
It has the cast in it.
It had cast in it. It says Ravenwood.
You know
what I mean?
We're brainstorming.
But if I had to vote, I would vote for
RaptorCast. Perfect.
Yeah, RaptorCast.
100%.
Well, Dr. Mason, welcome to the RaptorCast.
Absolutely. Yep.
For those who don't know, how long you been working here at Ravenwood?
That's a man.
Yeah.
I think I am completing this at the end of this school year. I will have completed 18 years.
18 years. Okay.
18 years at Ravenwood.
And this year's the 20th anniversary?
It is the 20th anniversary. My first year here at the school was the second graduating class was graduating. So the first graduating class, when they started the school out with 9th and 10th graders.
Okay.
And the building was pretty empty, just
right.
9th and 10th graders alone. And then the next school year, you have 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. Mm-hmm. Then the school year after that, you have 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And so then that class graduated, right? So then that next year is when I became assistant principal.
Okay, so Nolensville did the same thing when they opened up, right?
Same exact thing. Okay. So, all of the kids that started Ravenwood were originally at Brentwood High School. So
so there's the rivalry.
There's
where it's coming from, right?
So when we say who's your daddy, that's kind of like
the thing, right?
Well, it's kind of like we're actually birthed from them,
right?
So kind of a little bit. If you want to get technical, they're our daddy.
We're looking at the timeline.
Yeah.
Not helping our case at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, was there any main event or climax that was the schooling system being in this position that I'm in right now? This is kind of what I want to do. I love doing this. Is there anything that happened, or you just kind of take the job and you say, you know what, I enjoy this?
As being an assistant principal?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's crazy, man, because actually my first degree that I got in college was from MTSU, and it was in recording industry management with a minor in radio television.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's my first undergraduate degree. You guys may know that I'm a DJ. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah. So
you didn't know that?
Yeah. So I DJ. That was my thing in college. I was a DJ with a rapper on Sony Records back in the day in college, and we traveled the world, man. A little bit. I did a little touring. I opened up in Paris, France with. You remember Coolio? You know Coolio?
Yeah, Gangsta's Paradise.
Gangsta's Paradise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I opened up for them over in Paris. I've opened up for George Clinton and the Fugees in Miami, and I've been quite a few places with the rap thing. The guy that I DJ'd with, his name is Count Bass D. That's his stage name, but he's a classically trained bass guitarist, pianist, and drummer.
Wow.
So the rap that he was doing was kind of like jazzy type, jazz feel, alternative type of rap. And we had a band, and I was the DJ in the band.
So you spend some time in studios and stuff like that, recording stuff?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in studios and behind the camera and doing production in the television world, too, a little bit, because my minor was radio television when I was at MTSU. So, so you go on tour. I went on tour and did all that. I got married, and I had a daughter. So when you're working in the music business, it's kind of fickle. You don't know sometimes if you're going to get gigs and all that. Right. So I had to find something to do that has insurance benefits.
Right, yep.
So I went back to school and got certified to teach. So I started teaching school. And the reason why I chose education was, okay, it's a 10-month-a-year job. I work for 10 months. I got weekends off. I got summers off. I got spring break. I got Christmas break. And during those times, guess what I can do? I can do music.
Right.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, I'm making a paycheck and taking care of my family, and I got insurance benefits for my newborn baby.
Right.
So that's kind of why I chose education as a backup to the music thing. So then as I got into education, I was like, I really
like
enjoy
this.
hanging out with the kids, man. And then I started coaching. I coached when I was a teacher. I was a basketball coach, and I coached track, and I also coached volleyball. And then, well, let me see if I can take this a little further. I went back and got my master's in administration, and Dr. Vaden hired me, and I'm sitting here talking to you guys.
Sitting here talking to us now. That's a wild story, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, you just never know. So I'm saying, like, I guess maybe to say when you guys major in whatever you're majoring in, it's cool, but you can still go do other things outside of your major.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just never know. I bet if you ask all the teachers here, a lot of them will say they majored in other things before they found teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Miss Sanchez did some court guard duty before she was a teacher, and that's that's not even close to being related to a teaching job.
Sure.
And so it's some things just like come out of the blue, man. You never know where you're gonna end up.
Absolutely.
No, but the majors thing, man. I feel like a lot of people do unfortunately have that misconception where they're like, "Oh, this is my major. I major in business, so I guess I got to be a businessman now. I got to start a business, something like that." You got the whole road ahead of you.
You can do so many different things, man, with so many different degrees. But and even so more so for you guys, man. There's just many more opportunities to do things with. I didn't have social media.
Right.
Barely. Like when I was in high school, we really didn't use the internet, bro.
Was it like brand new, like just the big fat
just
computers?
Started, I didn't have a cell phone in high school. Like, you guys know I graduated from Franklin High School.
High School, yes.
Really?
Yeah. I went to Franklin High School, and I graduated in 1989, and there was
no cell phone.
I didn't have a cell phone. Like, there was no cell phones. There was we didn't. My internet was a set of encyclopedias that my mom bought, you know what I mean, when I was a little boy.
Right.
So that's how we did a lot of research, just books and newspapers and things
like
that. And even when I got to college, there's still 91 is kind of the internet started to kind of come about.
A little bit.
Cell phones started to get a little bit more, popular, and, cell phone was probably this big. My first cell phone was huge.
Oh, so you got that like massive block one?
Oh yeah.
Was that like kind of everyone had one of those, or did
100%.
it? Really?
100%. Yeah, it was.
How'd you carry
What
that
could you do on those? Was it just like
call,
dialing numbers?
There was no texting. Texting didn't exist.
Right.
Just call somebody. That's all you could do.
And did that go in your backpack or?
Yeah. It was like either you kept it in your car, like you didn't really walk around with it too much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe you had it in your car because you couldn't put it in your pocket. There's really no case or holder for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow, so you're saying like that big at least?
Actually, those big phones were basically car phones, though. You had those in your car.
To make calls in the car.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the first mobile phone
Gotcha.
to have. Other than that, you stopped at a payphone, bro. Like if you
right.
Yeah.
You're gonna throw in a quarter
man, and call somebody. Well, you know what? Actually, before payphone, I mean not payphones, before the big cell phones that you used in your car or whatever were popular, everybody had a pager. You know what a pager is?
Oh, like what doctors have.
Yeah, like everybody
you get ring when someone needs you.
It's just like like it would buzz, and you look at the pager, and you would see, like if you were paging me, I would see your phone number, and that means okay.
I need to call this person.
I need to call this person back. So what you would do is, if you were out and about, I used to keep in the ashtray of my car, I would keep a bunch of quarters, because you would stop at a payphone and call someone that paged you.
Could you imagine that?
And for my mobile DJ service, I still have these business cards. I had a business card for my DJ service, and it had my pager number on it. 615-782-9698.
Still remembers it.
Wow. That was my pager number.
Wow.
You carried around a page. You carried around something that would let you know when you needed to go find a payphone and call someone.
Sure. Here's a funny story. My uncle he's probably 20 years older than me, but he's old school. So this is like recently, he still had a pager and a cell phone. And I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? Just cut out the middle, man. Let's give people your cell phone number. Like,
Yeah.
Did he not? Was he just so used to the pager?
Just so used to it, he just didn't want to get rid of his pager. So people would page him, and then he would call them back from the cell phone. I'm like, you don't have to have this.
You could eliminate one of those.
So
factors.
finally, I think just a few years ago, like he just got rid of it.
A few years ago.
Yeah, maybe. I'm literally talking about 4 or 5 years ago. He just got rid of his pager.
That sounds like something my dad would do.
It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, my dad he did medical business kind of stuff, and he had this briefcase that had his calendars, his books, his documents, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now you have just a laptop. You just bring a laptop
100%.
in a padded case and something like that. But he told me the laptop came out for about 10 years, he still liked his briefcase. He's been doing it for like 25 years.
Sure.
And so he's like, I didn't feel right walking through the streets with a laptop in my hand. I wanted my briefcase.
There's going to be something that you guys are used to that you're not going to want to.
Yeah, and everyone's going to look at us and say, look at these old guys.
Old guys, yeah. It's probably going to be cell phones or something.
I think so, too.
You know, like the way to text people or communicate with people may be like on your glasses or something like that in the future. Yeah. You guys aren't going to want to switch over. You're going to keep your cell phone.
I'm not using that.
I'm not using that. Like another good example of that is like the self-driving cars, the Teslas and stuff like that. Like,
this guy's still driving his own car.
So I have a Tesla, right?
All right.
But I'm not going to let it drive itself. I just can't do that.
No, absolutely not.
You guys might do that, but I just don't trust it.
No, yeah, my mom just got this new Escalade, and it has like this thing called like Super Cruise, and on the interstates, when you're going 85 miles per hour, like it'll you could push a button and it'll like start driving itself, and it's like it'll turn the turn signal on.
Really?
Make a lane change, and it'll it could tell if there's a car like in if in your blind spot or and it like the steering wheel like buzzes to like wake get you to drive it again to like touch the steering wheel to make sure you're awake.
I think the Teslas do that too. Yeah. But I can't. I just don't trust it, man.
Yeah. It's just like
there's literally gonna be some technology that you guys, let's say it's gonna be like teleportation. I'm talking about like 60 years from now. Like you guys are gonna be 80, and the young people are gonna be teleporting to Starbucks, and you're gonna be like,
go for a bike ride.
I ain't getting in that teleportation device, and they're gonna look at you like,
what do you mean?
Yeah.
That's
the way it goes, man.
That car technology, when I first heard about that, I said, why would you? Because, some people enjoy driving, getting in the car and driving places. And also to take the risk of malfunctions and stuff like that. Like, you're not, if I would understand maybe if it was a drone with nothing in it and everything around it had nothing in it, but there's still people on the road. Yeah, and so something goes wrong, you're putting people in danger.
Yeah.
That's too early for me. I'm with you. I would never touch one of them things at all.
Okay, but I'm just saying, in 20 years from now, when
there's gonna be something,
when there's self-driving cars like picking people up to like Ubers, like it's just a car picking you up and taking you somewhere, like we're gonna be reluctant to do it, but the kids are gonna be like,
"What do you mean?" Yeah, right. They're gonna be all confused about it, and then we're the old guys now. Yeah. Now we can't make fun of old people anymore. We're the old people.
Yeah, we're gonna. You guys may not realize it, but we're gonna be old together.
At some point.
I'm 50. I'm 52, actually. And you guys are what?
18.
18, yeah.
Well, I might be too old. In 40 years, though, I'm 92, and you guys are what?
We'll just have
50, 58?
Get you back on the RaptorCast
when you're 90. Y'all are 58, and I'm 90, so, yeah. 58's kind of, I wouldn't say that's old, but it's
we're getting there.
It's getting there.
Halfway to 100.
Yeah, for sure.
I totally agree with you, man. That's crazy. Wow. 58 and 92. Yeah, we come back to the Raymond High School studio and we have a RaptorCast.
Let's make it happen.
I'm going to put it on my calendar.
Put it on your calendar.
I'm going to get this random notification on my pager in 40 years.
In 40 years.
I got to call Dr. Mason. So,
that's funny.
What were the sports that you coached when you first came here again?
No, I didn't coach anything here at Ravenwood. No. I coached when I was a teacher. I taught in metro schools in Nashville when I was a teacher. And I coached basketball, I coached track, and I coached volleyball. I actually coached a guy named Brandon Wright. who played maybe 10 years in the NBA.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. If some of the basketball people that may be watching this podcast may know him because he graduated from Brentwood Academy, and he went to North Carolina and he stayed 1 year at North Carolina. He got drafted 8th overall to the Golden State Warriors, and then he played with the Mavericks and the Celtics and the Nets, and he's retired now. Actually, we just had breakfast over Christmas break.
So you're still in touch with him? Still friends? That's so cool.
Yeah, he lives here in Brentwood, but he has a AAU program called Be Right. So it's a AAU basketball program. He sponsors that. It's Be Right basketball. So he's a pretty well-known guy in the basketball world around here in this area, but was one of my students, man, one of my basketball players.
I bet he helped you a whole bunch.
It's real cool. Yeah. He's like 6'10".
6'10".
Yeah. He's been here like you guys were younger, but he used to come over here sometimes. I would meet him over here on the weekends and let him work out in the gym because he lived over in Governors for a little bit, right. And I would let him work out in the gym. I rebound for him and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm still in touch with him, man. Then I had another kid that I coached that's just now retiring from overseas. His name was Gerald Robinson, and he played for Georgia, the University of Georgia basketball, and he's about to retire from. I think he's played in France and Spain and Italy and all those places overseas. So he did really well. So I had some pretty cool athletes, man, that I coached. Mm-hmm.
And those were both basketball guys?
Both basketball guys. Then I coached girls volleyball, and then I coached boys and girls track in Metro.
That's awesome. So tracks, how did they get the tracks if they're at a Metro school? Were there like indoor facilities for those?
No. We ran on track outside.
They had them outside.
Yeah.
So the schools, I don't even know if I've ever even driven past Metro school.
Oh yeah. Man, there's Metro School District is way bigger than Williamson County, man.
Gotcha.
Like where we have 8 or 9 high schools, they got 20 high schools, double the amount of high schools we have, and double the amount of middle schools, and
whole bunch of kids in there too.
Yeah,
all
man.
packed up.
Double the amount of students probably as well. Probably more than double the amount of students we have. So.
And is it kind of like just you have a campus and there's the classrooms around, just kind of like ours, but different spot?
Yeah, just different spots.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. And so you had nice weight room facilities. You had the track out. Oh, really not?
No, just being honest with you, the facilities and buildings here are a lot nicer than what they have in Metro. There are some schools they have some new schools there that are pretty nice that they're building, but at the time when I was teaching there, they were Williamson County schools facilities were a lot better than what
is
they
there
had in
just
Metro. But they're getting better.
They're getting better. I think everyone's going to get better as time goes on.
Sure, absolutely.
It becomes way easier to fundraise with social media. I feel like that's helped a whole bunch of people. Yeah. But do you think at that time was it like a poor management of money or just not enough money to go around?
I don't know. You have a lot of different problems when you have a bigger school district.
Right.
You know what I mean? And those schools were, I taught in a school that school was built in probably the 20s or the 30s. You know what I mean? It was a super old school. Actually, we didn't have a gym. We had like a gymatorium. Have you ever been in a middle school where there's like
where there's the gym
and then there's a stage in there with a
my old middle school.
That was the school gym. So I would let the girls practice basketball in that, and then there was a rec center that I would have my basketball team jog to for conditioning. That was about a mile away, and so I would get in my car and slowly drive beside them as they were jogging to the rec center.
That's actually
for
smart.
Practice. You know what I mean? So I killed 2 birds with one stone. We're getting them there because I couldn't put them all in my car.
Right.
So, but they're getting there, but that's their conditioning for the day. They jog to the rec center for practice. And then their parents would pick them up at the rec center.
Smart.
That's genius. No,
yeah.
Because, and it also chews up practice when you have to do conditioning and stuff.
100%.
But you need it. You ain't going to win games if you're not conditioned.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. So that's just being efficient.
Being efficient. Mm-hmm. So, you would have had to take 5-6 trips with your car to get them there.
100%, yeah.
And you got to get there and then do conditioning for 20 minutes. And they're all mad at you because you got them doing suicides on the court and stuff like that.
You're right.
And so you just jog them over there. And so at that time, were you living near this school, or were you living near the metro school?
No, I lived in Nashville.
In
at
Nashville.
the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, my first teaching job was in Metro, and I lived in Metro. And when I got into administration, trying to get an assistant principal job, of course, I interviewed in some of the Metro schools, but there was a guy here in Williamson County Schools named Eugene Wade, and he was a recruiter that recruited people to come and teach and work in Williamson County Schools. And he was my mom's teacher.
Oh, wow.
He taught my mom in high school. So he knew that I was trying to get an assistant principal job. So he contacted me and said, hey, man, there's some assistant principal jobs open in Williamson County. So there were 50 people that applied for 5 jobs, for 5 assistant principal jobs. Brentwood was open, had a position. Ravenwood had a position. Franklin had a position. Independence had a position, and Fairview. So 50 people applied for these 5 jobs. They narrowed it down to 10 applicants, and I was in the 10. So I got a 50-50 chance of getting one of these 5 jobs.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed in front of all those principals at the same time. Like Dr. Vaden was there, Willie Dickerson, who's the principal at Franklin High at the time, Kevin Cadell, all the principals of those schools were there, and some other central office people. And, man, Dr. Vaden picked me.
So it wasn't really like, hey, you made the job, what school you want to go to? It was I want that guy?
Yeah, I want that guy. And Dr. Vaden chose me. Pretty cool.
That's
You're
awesome.
that guy.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, that her making that choice and Mr. Wade seeking me out to get me to interview, like, totally changed the trajectory of my life. Like, all my kids have graduated from here. Like, they've got friends from here. So just think, if I wouldn't have been here, then my kids wouldn't have graduated from here. They may have graduated from Independence or
something else. Yeah.
And totally a different experience for. It's kind of funny how things work out and change your whole.
One phone call.
And just change other people's lives too. You know what I'm saying? Just from a phone call or a decision.
Yeah, people got to realize that, man. It's the little things that make life.
Yeah, 100%.
So your time here at Ravenwood, you said 18 years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Highlight some memories for us. If you had, like, sports or a pep rally that was awesome, or like I know we did. Was it last year we did the Black History Month assembly? That was super fun. We had the jazz band stuff. Just list them, man.
I would say athletically, the state championships that we've won in football, and even in the other sports, in tennis and soccer, all those things are amazing, because I just think that just says that not only do we have a great academic school, that our kids excel in athletics as well, and in the arts and all the different areas. Even winning the band championships and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's all awesome, man, when our kids excel and show, because we're always ranked really high academically in the state and even in the nation, you know what I mean? But when we achieve in the arts and athletics as well, that just shows how well-rounded our students are, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So those are definitely highlights. From a pep rally standpoint, man, they're all pretty cool, but every time we have the Make-A-Wish thing where we give the kid a gift, like the Disney World thing, like, I cry. Like, I'm out there with the microphone kind of hosting it or whatever, but, like, I have to hold my head up because water comes up. Like, it's always super emotional for me, because it's so cool that, just to be real, man, like, we're privileged, not privileged, but blessed. You know what I mean?
Blessed, yeah,
Most of us, haven't had to deal with something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just me being a father and knowing that those families are going through that with their children, and we bring some happiness or some joy to that kid, and you guys, do all the events to raise the money, like, that is a super, super duper special thing to me. It's always super emotional. So I would say, from a pep rally event type standpoint, those Make-A-Wish things. Shout out to Miss Dykes, who does those.
Oh, she does a lot of stuff,
She does a
man.
really good job doing those. And from another thing that was super duper special, man, as a father, There was one night here at a football game. I don't know if you guys know my son, Andrew Mason. You guys probably weren't here.
I don't know if I met him.
He graduated in 2020.
Doesn't he? Someone told me he plays at.
He plays at Memphis. He plays football at Memphis. He got a full ride scholarship to Rice to play football.
Wow.
Out of high school, he had 26 offers to play college football.
Wow,
that's
good
cool
for him.
He chose Rice, and he's super. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but he's really fast. Like, that's his superpower. If you had to say what superpower he had or you have or whatever, if he had to answer that question, it would be his speed. Like, it kind of it definitely set him apart in high school. So there was one night, man, we played this team called Pulaski Academy, man, and he set a state record. He had 8 touchdowns.
Holy
He
cow.
had 8 touchdowns in one game.
I think I was there for that night.
Were you a freshman? You probably
I
were.
think I was there for that.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was on TV. And
was it Homecoming?
No, it wasn't Homecoming. I don't think. It was just Pulaski Academy is the team from Arkansas that doesn't punt. They always onside kick.
And they always go for 2.
They always go for 2. It was against that team. So, yeah, he went off. Like, he had 5 touchdowns at halftime, and then he scored 3 more. And, he set a state record.
Is that record still there?
Well, he actually tied a state record. So there's another guy that did, 8 touchdowns in, the 90s or something like that from Memphis or something like that. But, yeah, man, that was one of my – because I coached him. I always coach my son in Blaze and Brentwood Blaze.
Days, yeah.
Actually, I coached him over at Sunset Middle School too. Like the coach over there asked me to come and be the offensive coordinator at Sunset when they had football season. So I did that when he was on that team. And then his freshman year, we didn't have a freshman football coach. So Coach Daniels asked me to help with the freshman football team. So I was the offensive coordinator of Ravenwood's freshman football team. And so as a dad and a coach, if your son does something like that, man, that was besides my kids being born, that was one of my proudest moments in life in general, but it happened here at Ravenwood.
No, that is awesome to have his name in the plaques
man.
Yeah.
Super cool.
No, I definitely remember that game because I remember I was in the stands, and I freaking love football, so I was there, and I just kept seeing you remember number two? Just kept seeing number 2 fly down the field, and I was like, who is this guy? That's got to be 6 or 7. And then the announcer said, I think he just tied the state record. And I was like, holy crap.
Yep.
And I talked to my dad about it after, and he said he had seen him before. My older brother, Michael, graduated from here as well.
Yeah.
He said he knew him. Yeah. And, I mean, that's just awesome. That's just beyond awesome.
Super cool, man. Super cool.
In the Make-A-Wish assemblies, aren't there some fundraisers that happen throughout the years that we lead up to that?
Yeah, so when you guys do dodgeball tournament,
cause,
yep. I think Mr. RHS
is a fundraiser as well.
That's a fundraiser as well. When people pay to come watch the Mr. RHS pageant, I think there may be a couple more things that you guys do that all contribute. Those funds go towards granting the wish for the kid.
And we've done it I remember
we've raised over hundreds of thousands of dollars for that, man, over the years.
Do we do one every year?
We do one every year.
Yeah, because I moved here sophomore year, COVID was.
We do that every year, man. Yeah, again, shout out to Miss Dykes. She's kind of the brain power, and she organizes all that. She does that. Miss Dykes does a lot for this school. You guys probably don't even really know.
Oh,
she's like the activities
spirit
principal.
Coordinator.
Yeah,
Coordinator.
Spirit coordinator. But she's definitely like we couldn't do the administration around here. We couldn't do a lot of the things that we do without the help of Miss Dykes.
She makes it awesome, and she works like crazy.
Yeah, she makes it. She's the fun person. She makes a lot of things fun.
And that's the best part. She's always doing something, but she's always got a smile on her face, and she's always excited. And she's playing the music for the student section and stuff like that.
So that's speaking of fun. That's my thing. My motto, or my what I pride myself on mostly around being an assistant principal is 3 things, and I tell this to all the kids whenever we have class meetings and stuff like that. My job here, first and foremost, is to make sure you guys are safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Safe. Because you can't learn if you're not safe.
Safe, correct.
safe and comfortable. I want to make sure you're safe. Number 2 is I want you to learn something. You know what I mean? I want you to learn. And then number 3 is I want you to have fun. So those 3 things prioritized in that order: safe, learn, and fun. And the fun part is really, really important, man, because these high school days fly by.
Yeah.
They go by so fast, and you guys are going to be off in college, and you're going to look back and like, man, I wish I would have had more fun in high school, or especially when you get out of college and you're paying mortgages and you got insurance and you got responsibilities and bills and car notes and electric bills and all that stuff, and you're working and trying to make a living and have a family and all that. You know, you're going to be like, man, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. So I try to make sure that at Ravenwood we're doing things that are memorable and you guys are having fun, because, you know, college and high school are some of the best times of your life. I mean, being an adult is cool.
Cool, yeah.
But you got responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
You got stuff to do.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
right now, you guys don't have much responsibility. But, you know, you have to get your grades right, and be respectful to your parents and stuff like that. But you know, have a lot of responsibility just yet. You know,
Drive to school.
Yeah.
People are taking care of a lot of stuff for you and stuff
100%.
like that.
People probably paying your car note and giving you gas money. You may have a little job every now and then, but it's not really doing anything. It ain't paying the mortgage.
Pocket change.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Just make sure that you're having fun, and especially when you go to college, man, because that's when you have a lot more independence and with not a whole lot of responsibility. You still just got to get your grades,
Right.
but you have a lot of newfound independence, and that's a really fun time of your life. So soak that up too. So soak all those times in and have a good time, because sometimes being an adult is not the funnest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the greatest. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's time where you sit down and you're like, man, I wish I was in high school right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Or back, or at least back in college maybe.
something.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, so my brother's at UTK right now. He's a senior, and one of his buddies from his fraternity was a former Marine, and he got a construction job in Nashville this past summer.
Okay.
And so he was staying. He couldn't find a place to stay. The price was super up and high for living spaces in Nashville, especially downtown Nashville where he was working. And so my dad offered for him to just stay in our guest room for the summer and work his job.
Sure.
And so at night, he would normally make dinner with us, and so we'd get to talk to Parker about all the crazy stuff he's done, being in the Marines and stuff like that. And one time we got on the topic of college when it was just me and him, and he kind of identified college as the 4 years left to flush out your immaturities so you can get to work in the life. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's actually kind of a good description of college.
It actually is, man. That's
get-
a very good description.
You get 4 years to just get the nonsense out, get your stupidity out, and then you got to get to work.
Yeah, you got to get to work.
Yeah.
And once you start working, man, that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You're grinding.
That's one thing I realized, like, me being a senior in high school, I was like, okay, it really felt like a year ago when we got quarantined for what was supposed to be 2 weeks.
Sure.
But then it turned out to
Turned
be
into
like
a-
6 months. And then all of a sudden, second semester, senior year of high school, and then sooner than I know it, then I'm going to be in college.
are.
And I'm going to actually have to, like, give it, like, 110% into, like, every single thing.
Absolutely.
And then after that, like, it's
life.
all gas, no brakes.
100% gas, no brakes. Here's the thing. So, like, literally, man, like, you guys have one spring break left. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
it.
I know, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, and I tell the juniors that too. Like, dude, now the juniors, they only have one more Christmas break left, and it's over.
I remember
You know what I
that
mean?
realization
They
last
have
year.
the juniors have 2 spring breaks left, but they got one more Christmas break. You guys are, that's all you have left. Like, you don't have a summer break left in high school, like, because your next summer will be
Going into
going to
college.
college. You know what I mean? So I'm just telling you, man, it goes by fast. Soak it up and enjoy it, and try to have some fun while you're here. But get your stuff done, get your grades and stuff like that. But have some fun, man, because you're not gonna you know, and even your friend, like a lot of your friends that you and acquaintances that you have here at Ravenwood, like after graduation day, man, there's going to be some people that you're never going to see again in life. You know what I mean? It's a weird feeling, but
yeah, talking about college with friends and their list and stuff that's other side of the country, you're like, man, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see this dude again.
yeah, you may not, man.
And I've known that this guy's been a school friend, whether it's a close friend or just a friend, a buddy you know at school that you could talk to. Is like one guy I know, he's like, you know, I'm thinking about going to school maybe somewhere in Colorado or Nevada, and I'm like, dude, I'm going the opposite way from where you are. Am I ever gonna see you again? It's a wild conversation.
So like my daughter, the one that I was talking about, my first daughter that when I started my family or whatever and got married, and I had to get a job with benefits.
Yep.
My daughter Brianna, she graduated from here in 2013. So they're about to have their 10-year class reunion. She's been out of high school for 10 years. It doesn't seem
like 10 years
graduated
ago.
from UT, like she's already like. It doesn't seem like she's been gone from Ravenwood for 10 years. But yeah, so they're about to have they should have their 10-year class reunion in this fall. At some point
awesome.
From Ravenwood.
Wow.
So you guys will be 32 in 2030. No, 2033. You guys will have a 10-year reunion, right?
2030. I don't like the sound of that. I didn't like the sound of 2023 when it was coming up. When we were still in 2022, I was like, why we got a 3 in this?
Yeah.
And then also I've been writing down on the paperwork, my graduating class is 2023. And I said, that'll never come around. And here we are.
Yeah, it's
a couple months
here.
away.
Like my son Andrew, the guy that did the 8 touchdowns or whatever, he graduated in 2020. And that just seemed like when I took him to school on the first day of school, he went to Sunset for kindergarten. And I took him for that half day. I was like, man, he's the class of 2020. It just seems so far away. 2020's come and gone, bro. Like,
yeah, man.
I'm telling you, man, time flies. I'm actually my oldest daughter, Brianna, that graduated from here in 2013. She's married and she's about to have a baby, so I'm about to be a grandfather for the first
good
time.
for you, man.
Wow, yeah.
In March. You know what I mean? Like, she's in a couple months, I'll be a granddad, and my grandson, it's a little boy. They know it's a little boy. Well, he's the class of 2040.
2040.
It's weird.
When do you graduate? No, 2040.
I
can't do that. No.
2040.
Wow.
Yep. It's a crazy little feeling, man. You guys will be, 48? 38.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. We'll stick with that. We'll stick with that.
20 years. Something like that.
Yeah, 38.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Connor, are you doing a class ring?
A what?
A class ring?
A class ring? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Did you buy one?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think I didn't buy one either.
You didn't buy one?
Did you get one?
Yeah, my brother got one, and I think it's kind of cool. It's like gold, and then you can put whatever stone you want inside, and then you can engrave your graduation date on the inside.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wear it often. I'd probably put it in like
Just
a
keep
case
it a
and
keepsake
store it.
or whatever. Yeah.
I think a diploma is pretty cool.
You like the paper?
Yeah, I don't know where my diploma is, but I do remember my mom. My mom was a single mom. She raised me or whatever, and her biggest dream was for me to go to college. I'm her only kid, so her biggest dream was for me to go to college. So I remember when I graduated from MTSU, like I gave my mom my diploma, like my college diploma.
For her to find out.
Yeah. Here, you motivated me. You wanted me to do this, and I wanted to do it for myself too. But you know what I mean. I wanted her to have it and hang it on her wall at her house.
That's crazy. Good for your mom, man.
Yep.
We should bring her on the podcast.
Yeah,
that's what we should do.
Get Mama Mason on here.
Mama Mason.
Yep. So.
Well, man, appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, man. This is super fun, man.
For sure, man.
Who's your next guest going to be? You know yet?
No clue.
We got a couple people in mind. We got the ROTC instructors in mind because both served.
Okay.
And so I'm sure they got great stories. Mr. J, the band director.
Yeah.
I'm super interested to talk about because what he's done with the program is just insane.
Absolutely.
What are they?
All of our administrators are cool.
Awesome.
But Dr. Kane has a really, really cool story.
I was about to say Dr. Kane.
Dr. Kane has a really, really cool story, man. I mean, Miss Harris, Mr. Wilson, Dr. Eden, they all have cool stories too.
Right.
But with Dr. Kane, she would be good. She would be super good. All of them would be good again. I'm not trying to slight any of my other colleagues. You know what I mean? But Dr. Kane has a really, really cool story. She's been like a really cool little injection in our administrative team. But you know, she was a teacher here at first and all that. But she has a really cool story, man. So.
Well, yeah, I
put her on the list.
Yeah, I was interested in doing the new administrators and kind of ask them similar stuff to what we asked you. It was like, why Ravenwood? You know, what brought you here? So
for sure.
Well, appreciate your time. About 40 minutes of fun
right,
on the RaptorCast, right?
You know what? It didn't even seem like 40 minutes.
No,
it's just like having a conversation.
No, this is the goal.
I like it. I like that.
The podcast goal is you're having a conversation. There just happens to be 2 cameras with a microphone.
Absolutely. The RaptorCast.
The RaptorCast. Peace out, Raptors. We'll see you next time.